series of first reads or first experiences of a poem where I go through and look at a poem by a poet I don't know or know very little about and just have an experience of the joy of it. So I'm not worried about teaching it, thinking about it too deeply to present it to somebody else. I'm just experiencing. This is it. This one might seem like an odd choice because of the visual nature of it, but I'm just going to walk through it. It's from a glimpse of.net. There's the address of a glimpse of, which is a fun little Greek online magazine, which it publishes stuff by writers all over the world, not just Greeks, but does have a little bit more Greek angle to it. And we'll just look at this one. Theodoros Chiotis, or Chiotis, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, sorry Theodoros. And let's look at it. So this piece, there's no title on it, it's just presented. It looks like a classically Asemic piece. If you don't know what Asemic writing is, there's the term is right there. Asemic writing is poetry that appears like language but isn't quite, so it plays on the margin of art and poetry. This one I quite like because the beginning, we can see like there's a clear word in it, then it just drifts as we go through it. It looks like the, and then for me it looks like general of, but I don't know after that, general of, but, and the fourth word looks like something I would almost actually write myself with an F in it and a D, and then we're all over the place, right? We shift, and we have all these dots thrown in, the swirls, and it's mostly, you know, rectangular in shape as it is. Of the lines, the straight lines in it kind of mimic the lineation of a traditional poem, and the rectangular shape does too. But it almost feels like script at points. So if you look like halfway down, you have like the big circular thing, which could be like in an English a J. There's an L, like in here if it was cursive, if it were in English, but we don't know what language this was supposed to be, or initially. You know, it doesn't look like Greek at all, really. But, you know, who knows with the zigzags, looks like lots of Z shapes, some F shapes, some Arabic looking shapes thrown in here. It really just plays on the page. And you might step back and say, wait, a lot of these first glimpses you've looked at been, you know, poems with narratives or poems with structures or poems that you can go in and talk about. This one was an experience. I love Asemic poetry, really, I actually do. I love having this kind of central experience of the poetic experience without having to worry about meaning in that context. Like literally, I feel like Asemic poetry is sometimes, for me, when it's really good, it's poetry you can kind of jump into, like you just jump into a room surrounded by things that would be language. You're on the cusp of language, but are not quite there, but they're that experience. For me, I look at this one and I feel like the shapes are almost 3D as they're overlayered with, you know, darker and lighter, and that you could literally place yourself inside of the language being formed, or somehow proto-language here as its play. The shape, like I said, is reminiscent of traditional poetry, so I kind of see that as a play on what's going on. I don't feel stressed for meaning, like literally I could see this as a play on musical notation, or, you know, several different languages, or just meaning itself at the cusp of being at a meaning, and just being visually interesting, something you can fall into. So, nothing brilliant there, but I really like this specific Asemic poem. Like I said, I'm drawn to Asemic work already. But this one I think is very playful, like the beginning and how it shifts into things. So, there you go. Theodoros Chiotis, or Chiotis. Check it out.